welcome to Going Mad. I'm Vanessa.
And I'm Cailey.
And this is episode 2. We're so excited. Today we kind of have an alcohol theme episode going on. So Cailey will start off with the kidnapping and murder of the grandson of the founder of Coors
Brewing Company.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I drew a blank. And then I will be talking about the haunted bar of Bobby Mackey's Music World. And then Cailey's going to finish us off with some more haunted breweries.
Yeah.
Woo woo. Excited. So, take it away.
Okay, let's do it. Okay, so for those of you that don't know, I live in Colorado, so I have a lot of Colorado knowledge. You know, that's just how I am. So, anyways, Adolf Coors III, as Vanessa said, was the grandson of the founder of the Coors Brewing Company. He was, at the time of his kidnapping, he was the CEO of Coors. And just a fun fact, he was a semi-professional baseball player.
Oh, wow.
And he had 4 children and a lovely wife. So, on February 9th, 1960, while on his way to work, he was kidnapped. He had pulled over on a bridge, and I couldn't really find anything that said why he pulled over on this bridge, but he did.
Okay.
So he pulled over on this bridge, and he lived in Morrison, Colorado. So the bridge was in Morrison, Colorado, and Morrison, Colorado is where Red Rocks is, just as a reference point. So he pulled over on this bridge, and a man pulled over and kidnapped him. And so his car was discovered by a milkman who was, I'm guessing, on his route. And it was empty, no sign of him. So he called the cops. The cops came to check out the car, and they found his hat and his glasses and a trace of his blood.
Oh.
So the next day, Coors' wife got a ransom note for $500,000. And so they were, like, okay, this is serious, guys. This is a big deal. So at that point, the FBI was getting involved, and this had actually been the biggest FBI effort since the Lindbergh baby kidnapping, which was a big freaking deal. So all this time went by, never heard anything. September rolls around. So remember, he was kidnapped in February, and now it's September. And there was a hiker just hiking around up by Pikes Peak, which, if you know anything, it's very far from where Morrison is. Hiking around Pikes Peak, and a hiker finds a pair of pants, and in the pocket was a penknife with his initials on it. So then they did a search of that area, and they actually ended up finding his shirt and his skull at the base of Pikes Peak. So at that point, they were like, okay, clearly this dude's dead. There's no way we're going to be giving money to this lunatic. And so they were looking for witnesses or just kind of anyone that really saw what went on that day. And a witness came forward and said, I do remember seeing 2 cars on that bridge, and one of the cars was a 51 Mercury that was yellow. And so they were like, okay, perfect. And so the witness was actually able to give some of the letters and numbers of the license plate. And so they were actually able to find the car. And so the car went all the way. They found the car in a dump in Atlantic City in New Jersey. How it got all the way out there is crazy.
Yeah, far.
Yeah, and so the car had been burned. They torched the car I'm guessing, to get rid of evidence. And so they were able to get enough information off of the torched car to find out who it was registered to. And it was registered to a man named Walter Osborne, who lived in Denver. And mysteriously, he moved out of his apartment the day after the kidnapping.
Oh.
Yeah. So, later it kind of was realized that this Walter Osborne man was not a real person. This was a made-up name. And it was later found out to be Joseph Corbett Jr. So Corbett Jr. was actually arrested in Vancouver because there were people there that had recognized him because this case got so much international fame, basically. And so there was a couple that noticed him and said, "Hey, yo, we got your dude. Like, this is the guy." So the one kind of problem was there really wasn't much evidence. It was all just kind of circumstantial evidence and just kind of forensic stuff, but nothing really tied him to the murder other than that name and this. So Corbett's co-workers found him or overheard him talking about this $1 million plan that they had, and he denied it to, the day he died. He absolutely denied that he had anything to do with it. But his coworkers said that they overheard him talking about this $1 million plan. And the ransom note was actually traced back to his personal typewriter.
Oh, wow.
So that's a little bit of evidence there, There was also a chunk of dirt under the car that matched the composition of the dirt that around where the body was found. So that was also kind of a key, like, dude, we know you were there.
Yeah.
So, obviously he pled not guilty. He ended up getting convicted of first-degree murder and was sentenced to life in prison. Corbett was actually released in 1980 and became a truck driver. And Corbett actually committed suicide in 2009. And get this, he lived. So once he got out of prison, he lived and died 10 miles away from where he killed Adolf Coors III.
Whoa.
Yeah, so he was 80 years old when he died. So, yeah, it's kind of interesting because it's like, I mean, I've lived in Denver my entire life, and I had never heard of this case.
Yeah.
Until, I started doing a little bit of research on stuff. But my mom had heard about it. So she was pretty interested about it. But yeah, it's just kind of crazy that, like, this well-known brewery CEO gets kidnapped.
So they just killed him because they just didn't get the money?
Well, I'm thinking there weren't many details about this, but I'm thinking the kidnapping, like, he actually killed him before he sent the ransom note. I think he just wanted to give some sort of hope or, like, keep everyone on a trail of thinking that he was alive. I don't think that he actually was alive for much longer after the kidnapping, especially since they found blood at the scene where his car was.
Oh, yeah.
And, I could be wrong. I don't know. The only people that know are dead. So, I don't know. It's my personal belief that he did not make it past the first day. So,
whoa.
But who knows? Maybe he did. Maybe he kept him hostage for a little bit.
That's a good story. I liked that.
Yeah. So that's the story of Adolf Coors III and his demise.
Okay. I will tell my story about Bobby Mackey's Music World.
Oh, I'm so excited.
This place is located in Wilder, Kentucky, which is actually only 12 minutes away from Cincinnati, Ohio.
Oh,
So,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I
That's
didn't
kinda
know
crazy.
either. Yeah. So Bobby Mackey is actually a country music singer who was born in 1948. So he is 72 years old today. In 1978, he opened the nightclub or bar known as the Bobby Mackey's Music World, and it's actually still running today as a bar. It even has karaoke, and Bobby Mackey himself performs, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Lots of different groups have investigated there, including Ghost Adventures, and fun fact, this is actually the very first episode aired of Ghost Adventures.
Oh, that's kind of cool. That's interesting.
It's season 1, episode 1. Very interesting, I thought that was.
Wow.
Yeah, and BuzzFeed Unsolved has been there recently. You can actually pay to do your own investigation there, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
A little bit of the history of Bobby Mackey's is that it actually used to be a slaughterhouse.
Oh, jeez.
So that's gruesome.
Yeah.
Then it actually turned into a mob-owned casino. That was closed down when the police was cracking down on organized crime. There's some urban legends there. One of them is that a pregnant dancer committed suicide after her father supposedly killed her lover by hanging him.
I've heard that story.
Yeah, that's a
It's
pretty famous story.
crazy.
That was going on when the mob owned it.
Gotcha.
It is said that the basement was a site for cult rituals, and this is where a well is located. The well is deemed as a portal to hell, so that's a good thing.
Great.
Great. Yeah, it said that the cult rituals, when that was happening, that they would throw animal sacrifices in the well.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and also supposedly a dismembered human head was thrown down there
Jesus.
also. So there's some dark stuff.
Oh my God.
But back to more present time, a former caretaker of Bobby Mackey's had an exorcism done there, right in the kitchen.
So freaking crazy, dude.
Isn't it crazy?
That's
He
insane.
claimed he was demonically possessed while he was living in the upstairs quarters. So crazy stuff.
No thanks.
Claims of the nightclub include lights turning on by themselves, the jukebox playing when it was unplugged, dark shadows have been seen, and actually Bobby Mackey's wife has had experiences in there, and she will not go back in the bar, she said.
Oh, really?
Yeah, isn't that interesting?
Wow.
She, let's see, what has she had done? She has claimed that she's been grabbed, pushed, and even throw down the stairs.
Oh my God.
So crazy.
Nope.
She's nope. She's also heard a spirit voice telling her to get out.
She's like,
That was
you got it.
you got it, bub. I'm out. When BuzzFeed Unsolved was there, they did the flashlight experiment. Do you know what that is?
Yes.
Okay, it's like where they have a flashlight. It's like a mag light.
Yes.
And it's a twisty one. So like you twist it on and off. So they were doing this experiment, and they asked they asked the demon if the demon wants to hurt them to turn on the light. And as soon as he said that, the light turned on right away.
Oh God.
That's a good episode. You guys need to go watch that. So it's a pretty cool place. You can go Friday or Saturday night, have a drink, listen to Bobby Mackey sing, and maybe have an experience of your own. And that's my story.
Get
And it's
messed
pretty
up by
cool.
some ghosts, some demons.
Yeah, I definitely want to go there.
Yeah, I agree. I've seen the Ghost Adventures episode, and I've seen the BuzzFeed Unsolved episode, and I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna do this.
Yeah, I know.
Even if I just go
can't-
for a
I mean,
beer. I don't need to pay to do a tour. I just want to go check it out.
Yeah, pretty crazy.
That's crazy. Okay. Now more haunting stuff, guys. Get
Okay.
ready. So I'm gonna go through just a couple of breweries and stuff because I'm super into breweries. My husband works at one. I love beer. It's great. So one of the breweries that I looked into was the Moon River Brewing Company in Savannah, Georgia. And from what I know, that's kind of one of the most notorious haunted breweries in America.
Wow.
So the building that the brewery sits in was built in the 1800s, and at one point it was a hotel. And it was also used as a hospital during the yellow fever outbreaks.
Wow.
And so they, as just like Bobby Mackey does, they do tours. Ghost Adventures was there, Ghost Hunters were there, and I believe that BuzzFeed Unsolved was there as well. And so yeah, you can pay to do tours at night and stuff. And so they say that there's a ghost named Toby that's there, and he haunts the basement. And people will hear voices. Or they'll kind of just walk in and randomly get cold. Like, you know how they say that ghosts kind of drain energy and you get cold and stuff? Yeah, so apparently that happens a lot. And then in the upper level, a lady in white has been seen, and she's also known for pushing people down the stairs.
Oh, hell.
No thanks. Rain check. And I think I also saw a story about a little girl that had stayed there when it was a hotel, and she didn't say what her experiences were, but she did say that she had quite a few experiences before it was turned into this brewery. So the next brewery is called the Old Town Pizza and Brewing in Portland, Oregon, which I totally am going to go to next summer if they're still open. So this one's in Portland, Oregon, and it is actually built on top of the very infamous Shanghai tunnels. So do you know what the Shanghai tunnels are?
That sounds familiar,
Okay,
but
so good, because I'm about to tell you. The Shanghai tunnels were the tunnels that are kind of, Portland was built on top of these tunnels.
Oh, wow.
And so back in the day, the tunnels were used as kind of like a transportation system for, ships that have been offloading, things for stores and markets and stuff. And so that's what they were used for, was just transportation. Well, eventually they got taken over by organized crime. And some bad things would happen down there, like kidnappings and maybe a little bit of sex trafficking.
whoa,
Who knows?
not good.
Yeah. But like I said, it was made to, transport things from the Willamette River to the stores within the city. And so the brewery sits on top of the tunnels. And so I'm sure they probably get a ton of activity from that. But
Oh, yeah.
one of the main spirits that haunt that brewery, her name's Nina. So she has been around since 1880. So she's been there for a while.
She's been there a good while.
She's put in her time. She was a working woman who this is what they say, was that she was a working woman who was thrown down an elevator shaft.
Oh, wow.
And never left. And so people will always say, like, oh, I see a woman in black. And so that's who they say that is Nina. This is the one with the girl from the hotel. So apparently this building also used to be a hotel.
Okay.
And a little girl stayed there. And she recalls seeing Nina when she was staying there. And someone actually captured a picture of her.
Ooh.
So I think they were taking a picture. It looks like what they were taking a picture of is another picture, like a framed picture, and you can see in the top corner her face.
Ooh.
And it's crazy. It's crazy. So, yeah, so that one, like I said, I want to go to that one so bad. Not only because I've, always wanted to go to Portland, but that would be so cool just to go to a haunted brewery. Okay, so the next brewery that's kind of, haunted is Wolfton Brewing Company. So that one is in Illinois, in the Chicago area. It's a suburb of Chicago that it's in. I think it's, what did I say earlier, Bloomingdale?
Yeah,
Bloomington? I think Bloomington. I don't know. It's in one of those blooming cities. But it's a suburb of Chicago. And so the building that it sits in was built in 1851. And so once again, just kind of an older, all of these are really old, buildings. So there have been reports of like magnets flying off of the walls, batteries draining quickly. People will hear like coughing and footsteps. And so when they were actually building the brewery, they did a little bit of construction just to kind of renovate the building. And that's when a lot of activity would happen. As I think construction really disturbs. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the co-owner, while they were doing construction, she found like a little marble. And so she just picked it up, and I think she probably ended up taking it home. I don't know, but I know that she kept it. And so as she picked up that marble, and then crazy stuff started happening. So like she was at a hardware store, like a Home Depot or Lowe's or something, and paint would just start falling off of the shelves like after she walked by. It's nope. And then she like just randomly somehow cut herself while shopping for a fire extinguisher. Don't know how that happened. And then once driving, she she was just driving down the highway and a construction barrel flew in front of her.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and then this is the worst one. While actually at the building, she tripped and cut her Achilles tendon. Yeah.
Ooh.
And it was, like I said, it was on the construction site. So, like, she was actually at the building and she fell and cut her Achilles tendon. No,
Did she return the marble? We're getting to that.
Get to that.
Okay.
So, once she put the marble back, everything stopped.
Damn.
No more weirdness. I know. I'm like, no.
Don't
no.
take stuff.
Yeah, don't
That's
take
not yours.
weird things like marbles off site, man. So, anyways, there are 2 known ghosts that kind of haunt that building. One is a woman who died there by falling into a well, and the other one they named Jack. He was a soldier, possibly from the Civil War. And the reason they know that is because they've had like mediums and stuff come in there, and they keep getting the name Jack, and they've kind of learned a little bit about this character. And they say that the upstairs room is a portal.
Oh.
Don't know what a portal to, but it's the portal. And yeah, so that one's crazy. No, thank you. Although I think I'm also going to go to that one. I'm willing to try these all. Okay, so the last one that I wanted to talk about was the wine coop. So the wine coop, if you don't know, was actually owned by the old governor of Colorado.
Okay.
Mr. John Hickenlooper, who is he's running for senator right now.
What a last name.
Hickenlooper. Yeah, everyone calls him Hick.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, as most people would. So he actually owned the brewery for a long time, and then he was the mayor of Denver, and then when he became the mayor, he sold it. Because I think there was some sort of conflict of interest or something. I don't know. I didn't look into that. But it's in Denver, Colorado, and it's right it's right downtown, and it's right across the street from Union Station. So if you're ever in Denver and you're going to Union Station, hop on over to Wine Coop because they got some good beer. They got some good food. I've been there. It's pretty good. Apparently they have a Rocky Mountain oyster beer.
Oh.
Do you know what Rocky Mountain oysters are?
Yes.
Okay. For those of you that don't, they're bull testicles.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Gross.
But they make a beer out of it. And I'm like...
I'm sorry, that just sounds really
That sounds
bad.
interesting. I would probably try it. I didn't even know it was a thing until like yesterday. And I think I would try it, but I don't think I'd get a full glass. I think I'd get a little taster. I think that's all I could handle. I've never had Rocky Mountain oysters, so not sure I'd like it. Anywho. Back to the reason we're here. So the wine coop was built, it's in a really kind of cool old building in downtown Denver. The building's actually 125 years old. And so when you go to the brewery, there's like the main room, and then there's a little back room, and then there's an upstairs area, and then there's a downstairs area, and there's like the whole brewing area. So they say that the basement is where most of the activity takes place. They'll like it seems to be more in like the men's room than it is in the women's bathroom, which is probably why I've never experienced anything. But they say that men who are like using the urinals will feel something brush up against their legs.
Ew.
Yeah. And I'm like, no, thank you. No. Especially when you're vulnerable like that. Like, you're in a vulnerable state.
Winky
when
out.
you're using yeah. You're, like, in a vulnerable state using the restroom, and it's like, I don't want something brushing up next to me while I'm doing that. No, thank you. So, yeah, and then they also say that staff have seen, like, shadows darting across the rooms. And so I could see where that would happen. There's a part on the brewery that's, I believe, I don't know if they actually use it for anything other than like events, but it's this really cool like old room, and then there's a little like you go out and then there's like a little patio that's really cool, and it's like you're literally looking onto Wine Coop, which is the street name. Like, it's right off of Wine Coop. And so it's super cool. And I think that room would be, like, the creepiest. Like, that would be the room I would think something would happen. Because it's got all these dark corners.
Ooh.
Dim lighting. It's got a really cool, like, old bar in the back. So I would think that's where the crazy stuff happens.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, apparently in the basement, in the men's room, while you're urinating.
So just pee before you go.
Yeah, don't try not to drink too much beer, so you can avoid the bathroom. For all you men out there, just saying. And that's it. That's all I got.
That was good.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
I know. I'm like, now I want to look into more breweries.
I want to go to them all.
Well, there was one in Buena Vista that I didn't really look into, only because it's closed now. Due to coronavirus, it closed. So I don't know if they plan on coming back open, but it's in Buena Vista, and it's, so Buena Vista's in Colorado. It's up in the mountains. It's this cute little mountain town. But yeah, my mom goes to Buena Vista all of the time, and she had never heard of it. So I'm like, okay, I think it's a newer brewery that hadn't really taken off quite yet. But yeah, I hope they open back up, because I'd love to go up there. I'm all about my mountain breweries.
Yeah.
I love them all. I love all breweries, let's be honest. I don't think I've been to one that I like say, nope, don't like you. I love them all.
All of them.
All of them. I don't discriminate.
Okay. Well, do you guys have any crazy stories? Creepy? Paranormal? Email us.
Yes.
Do it. At... What? What? Okay, email is goingmadpod@gmail.com.
Yeah.
You can also find us on Facebook.
And Instagram.
And Instagram.
And YouTube.
Look us up.
We've got all sorts
YouTube.
of places, guys. We're very accessible.
Yes. Look us up, email us, message us on Facebook. Just tell us what you got. Tell us any stories. We want to hear them all.
Yes. And we're also on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and you can leave a review, rate us, tell us what we're doing wrong. Please try not to be mean.
Not really. But thanks for listening.
Yeah.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.